thing I opened with Coach. On tape, is that something that y'all could see coming? Did y'all project that y'all would hold them to 3 or shut them out?
You don't ever know about the points, but we felt like the first thing we did is we matched it well against the run game, and that's where it all began. They're obviously a great running football team. We thought the team we played last week was a great running football team, and we feel like we have the ability to shut down anybody's running game. Our kids are getting more confident in that, and I think that set the tone early. It's not a hard game if you can make somebody one-dimensional. It's hard to win that way, and I think the credit goes to our guys up front for the way that they got after him in the first half of the game.
How much do you think the pressure kind of rattled Showers a little bit? Even when you weren't successful, like on that, you brought the house and that 53-yard screen pass. But I mean, other than that, seemed like he was flustered the entire night, never really found a rhythm.
I would agree with that, but I still think that comes back to not having the running game. When you're used to having is a great runner like they have, getting off for yards and the diversity of in the running game, that's always there. And what it did was it put all the pressure on him to make every play for them. And then when you know that somebody is having a hard time running the ball, then you can do more things to try and confuse the quarterback and confuse the offensive lineman, which is what we were able to do today.
What do you think of Xavier's performance? Did you give him a magnet or something for the ball?
It's right in front of his face. It's his 2 eyes. He's got a great instincts for the ball in the air. I think a lot of the credit when we go back and we watch it will come to the rush. I think a lot of those plays, the quarterback was off the spot, and if you chart quarterbacks, a lot of times once you get them off the spot, their productivity goes way down and crazy things start to happen. And I think that's what we did. I thought we got the quarterback moving around and made him make some poor decisions. And you have a guy like Xavier in the back end, he's a predator and you can punish him.
How much better does it feel as a DC when you can force 5 turnovers, 4 of which end up going for points? You sit there on the sideline and watch the offense score.
That was a big part of it because we're trying to become more of a servant defense for our offense. Try to put them in more advantageous positions on the field to score. So whether it was us scoring on the field goal block, whether it was Tony first play of the second half, forcing the fumble, that type of stuff, because that's what gets the landslide going, and that's really how routes occur. It's hard to drive the ball 80 yards on anybody in this stage of college football. You have to do some things to flip the field and create explosive plays, and it was good that we could do that to help our team win.
The pitch from Adarius to Levander, is that something y'all are coaching?
Yeah, we practice that every week in practice. We're trying to score on defense, and credit to those kids keeping that alive, and that's going to be a fun one to watch during film review.
What exactly did you see on film? Coach was talking about how you met with them, I guess, was it this morning?
Yeah.
Whenever, what stood out to you to even think of putting something together, scheming something together?
They had a weakness in their field goal protection that every week had been getting a little bit more exposed, but no one had really done the one thing that they couldn't handle. And that's just what happens in week 5. Week 5, week 6, you start to, you get a pretty good beat on who everybody is and where the weaknesses are. And but the credit goes to the kids because they had to go out there and make the play, and it turned out to really be a big time dagger in the game.
How hard is that for the players to not? They didn't practice it because you didn't put it in this morning to go out and execute it after not even practicing it.
It wasn't all that complicated. It was just we just sort of had to put one guy in one gap that they weren't paying attention to, and the rest worked out good.
But did you kind of stumble upon it, or were you specifically looking for?
No, we look every week. Every week, our defense staff handles our field goal block. So every week we watch it and we feel like we have a chance to block a kick. And we knew if we got them in that formation that we'd have a chance to score. We're talking everything we do on defense. We're trying to create plays, not just for our own ego. We're trying to make plays because it helps you win. We're trying to score on defense. We have built-in traps in our coverages. We're trying to make plays on the ball when it's in the air, tackle for losses, things like that. And that was an opportunity. Our kids got it. They saw it. And that's the thing. You don't have to make it up as a coach. You show them the video and say, hey, look here. They have a weakness in their protection. We have to expose it because no one had yet.
The way the defense played tonight, is that the true potential, do you think?
Well, obviously when you outscore somebody on defense, that's not going to happen all the time. That's a special night. But I think what the kids are starting to see is the difference between good and great. Because what we did tonight, really, we've done that before. We hadn't done it for 4 quarters. That's you've already seen that. This is the North Texas game. That's a Lafayette game. But we got distracted at the end and didn't make it look dominating. And our kids understood that, and they were mad about that. And it was important from today, even the way that the game ended was almost poetic justice, to finish the game on defense and getting a pick. because that's what they really wanted to do. They wanted to turn the screw for 60 minutes, unlike what we did in those first 2 games.
All season, teams were talking about building depth, and the most tackles any one person had on defense was 6. Do you think that's a testament to the depth that's been built over the last 5 weeks?
I would hope so. And also, it's just part of kind of how we build our defense. We're not a defense where one guy should make every play. The way that they're doing, I mean, we just build the wall. And we always say we build the wall, and whoever the running back decides to run into, tackle him. So the fact that a lot of guys were productive, a lot of guys making plays behind the line of scrimmage, we were able to roll a lot of guys in our front 7 like we do. So I think all of that's a part of it.
What would you say the sense of the coaching staff is now that you're heading into the bye with the 2-0 conference?
It's big. Well, all you have to do is look at today around the country. It's hard to win a Division I football game now. There's a lot of people today that are sad. And to be 2-0 in the conference, there's not a lot of teams right now that are undefeated in their conference. Of the teams in the West, you're basically a game and a half up on 2 of them and a game up on everybody else. And two of the teams that in our league come to our place, and we got to go to 1. And that's all we talk about. That's why even when you talk about what if you lost, no one ever thinks about what if you lost. No one even considers that. They just consider what's in front of you, what this game is, and how do we go about winning it. And now we've got another West opponent coming to our stadium, and that's going to be a big, big deal in terms of meeting our goal, which is being a conference champion.